I work at a small bar that's located near a wooded area. One night, while on my cigarette break, I heard something near the tall pine trees that stood nearby. I didn't really think anything of it because being located near the woods, we got all types of animals that wandered around the building. My fellow employee named Drake had just joined me for a smoke as we talked about random stuff to kill the time. And that's when we heard the sound again. But this time, it was closer. "Did you hear that?" I asked. "Yes," he replied. "It's probably just an animal," he said. 5 minutes had passed and we had just turned around and started to walk back inside when all of a sudden we heard growling right behind us. And there it was, a large creature that had the head of a dog or wolf, but it was standing on its hind legs and was at least 7 feet tall. Its eyes were yellow and glowing like 2 headlights in the darkness. Its teeth were sharp and bloody, as if it had just eaten something or someone. "Drake, whatever you do, don't run." Then it started to slowly step toward us as I could feel my legs trembling beneath me. "Holy ass of a Kardashian," I said, as we both stepped backwards slowly towards the door. We quickly ran inside and locked the door. When they searched the grounds, they told us it was probably a wolf or a dog. Later that night, when I got off of work, I got into my pickup truck and headed home. But that was not the last time I saw the Dog Man. Maybe you've heard the story of me, known as an urban legend. But am I really just an urban legend? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. Makes you wonder, huh? My skin is pale, my eyes so eerie. And even though most call me unattractive, I still walk around with a smile on my face. As you sleep alone in your room in the dark, I am the one who's watching you. Look at you, just lying there so peacefully. But little do you know, I am the one who's watching you. There might be a sound in the middle of the night coming from your bedroom closet. But what or who do you think it might be? Could it be me just watching you? What about that sound that you hear outside of your window? Do you think it's just the branches scraping lightly against the glass? Think again. I am the one who's watching you. When you're alone in your car, and just because you've locked your doors, you think you're safe. That couldn't be further from the truth, because even though you've locked your doors, you forgot to check the back seat. I am the one who's watching you. When you're at school, alone in the bathroom, it's not only your shadow that's behind you. I am the one who's watching you. Who am I? My name is Jeff. Jeff the fucking killer. I hope you enjoyed. Now go to sleep. The Slender Man by Dark and Twisted, a limited horror series. My name is Detective Dark, NYPD Homicide Unit. Most of the time, the cases that we deal with are the usual crimes such as death by mugging, death by theft, the normal murders in the city. It was approximately 10 p.m. when the calls came pouring in. The first call was from a woman claiming that a man had abducted her child and she saw him carry her off into the woods. And it gets more disturbing because there was a trail of blood behind them. When I arrived at her house, the woman was trembling and she appeared to be in shock. I asked her to explain to me what happened. After having difficulties structuring her words, she finally began to speak. She told me that it was dinner time when she called out to her daughter to come inside to eat, but when there was no response, she began to worry. So she said that she hopped in her car and went searching for her, but after an hour of unsuccessful searching, she gave up and called the police. Describe the man, Miss Hawkins, I said, and I'll never forget the words that she said. Tall, slender, white with long arms, and the most disturbing part was he had no face, she said. So I went searching in the woods following the trail of blood. 35 minutes had passed and I stopped to take a rest. Then, all of a sudden, I looked up and there he was. Tall, slender, white with long arms. And yes, she was right. He had no face. Don't you fucking move, I said, pointing my gun at him. Where is the girl? I yelled angrily, but he said nothing. And even though he had no eyes, I could feel his stare upon me. Then he took one step closer. Have it your way, motherfucker, I said. Then I opened fire. To be continued. Siren Head, an animated horror miniseries, episode 1. Dante had been a park ranger for over 15 years. He'd seen it all. Bear attacks as well as campers gone missing due to strange and unexplained paranormal activities that were rumored amongst the campers, but nothing could have prepared him for what was to come. It was nearing midnight, and he and his fellow park rangers were working late. It was a silent night except for the calming rain and pounding thunder echoing throughout the wooded area. In the space of a heartbeat, his quiet office metamorphosed into phone call after phone call from campers in panic, mumbling something about a 40-foot-tall creature that had been spotted in the area. Nice try trying to trick me with these bogus phone calls, but it's not gonna work. At least, not this time, Peter, said Dante to his fellow park ranger and longtime friend. Peter was known for being a practical prankster and had played one too many pranks on Dante. I swear to God, it wasn't me this time. I'm getting the same calls, replied Peter, his eyes indicating seriousness. Yeah, whatever, Joker, said Dante with a snort, chuckling loudly. Then, all of a sudden, they heard screams bellowing so loud that they were shuttering the windows. What the hell was that? Yelled Dante in panic. Then they heard gunshots. What the? Said Peter as the door to their office flung open. Dante, Peter, you need to come quick. It's Mr. Douglas. He's dead. Something, I don't know what it was, but it killed him. Hurry, yelled Nancy in panic as they rushed to the scene. Blood, guts, and bone were scattered everywhere as a little old lady sat cuddling a bloody, decapitated head. Oh my God, what happened? Cried Dante to Mr. Douglas's wife, Alma, but she was mute. What's wrong with her? Asked Peter, staring into her unblinking eyes. She's in shock. She witnessed the entire thing, said Nancy. Who on earth did this? Replied Dante. Not who, but what did this, said Nancy, correcting him. So wait, you mean this thing is real? Said Dante, becoming slightly nauseous. Yeah, I saw it with my own eyes when it attacked Mr. Douglas. I tried to shoot it, but the bullets did nothing. This is serious, said Peter as their eyes darted back and forth at each other. We need to find this thing before it kills more people and close down the park. No camping until this is handled. And we need to warn the other residents to stay in their cabins. I have a feeling this is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad, said Dante, narrowing his eyes at the decapitated head. Then, all of a sudden, they heard a loud siren wailing from behind them. And when they turned around to face the disturbance, their heartbeats quickened. Holy Mother of God, they screamed in panic, pointing their guns in the direction of the 40-foot humanoid creature with blood dripping from its mouths. Its limbs were disproportionately long, thin, with bony, skeletal-looking hands that were also dripping blood from its fingertips. Its skin mummified and in the shade of rusted metal. And even though it had no shape in the form of a head, its teeth were sharp and jagged. And as absurd as it may sound, it had no ears. Instead, there were speakers. What in the hell is that thing? Cried Peter as it started moving toward them. Okay, guys, on the count of 3, fire your weapons. 1, 2, and 3. To be continued. Introducing my very own animated horror streaming service, Dark and Twisted TV, with exclusive animated horror series for members only, featuring My girlfriend wants to kill me. Her blood on my hands, the never before seen. My girlfriend wants to kill me. The prequel, which will show how David and Crazy Mary first met. Other fans have already signed up. Don't be left out or you'll never know how my girlfriend wants to kill me and her blood on my hands ends. Link in the description. Don't be left in the dark. Join today. Timothy and Caleb had always been into creepypastas, and their favorite of them all was one that was created by Trevor Henderson called Cartoon Cat. Rumor had it that Cartoon Cat lived in the pet cemetery located just down the street from where they lived. One night, they decided to sneak out of the house to go camping in the cemetery to find out if Cartoon Cat was real. For the first 2 hours, they sat around telling stories about Cartoon Cat and had heated debates on whether the story of the giant feline creature was real or fake. A couple of hours had passed. There they sat, waiting and waiting and waiting, but still no sign of the creature. So around 3 a.m., they had became tired, then fell asleep. Then, all of a sudden, they were awakened by a loud hiss, followed by a chilling growl. "What on earth was that?" said Caleb as Timothy grabbed his slingshot and aimed it in the direction of the disturbance. "It came from over there, behind that tombstone," said Timothy. But after waiting for more than 15 minutes, they gave up and went back to sleep. Hiss, growl, went the sounds once again as the twins decided it was time to get the hell out of there. And as soon as they were about to leave, there it was, Cartoon Cat standing in the shadows. It was tall, thin, and had blood-stained teeth, and right underneath where he stood lay 2 dead bodies. "Oh God, I think I'm gonna be sick," said Caleb. Timothy aimed his slingshot at the creature, then shot the stone into its forehead, angering the cat. "Let's make a run for it," said Caleb as they both ran as fast as their legs could carry them. But as Caleb arrived at the doorstep of their house, he noticed his twin was not behind him. Weeks had passed, and Timothy's body was never found, only his blood. From that day forward, Caleb feared that Cartoon Cat would come for him as well. So be warned.